Hello, everyone. Alan Gwynn here. Once again, I have Dyron Howell with me with Snack Pack for Kids, and we're here to talk today with him today about Snack Pack for Kids. Dyron, welcome.
Thank you for the opportunity.
I am so glad that you are here. Can you kind of tell me what Snack Pack for Kids is?
Basically, Snack Pack for Kids is a resource for our kids on the weekend when they may or may not have the food that they need. And the piece that's so important is that prepares them to learn on Monday, and it removes their anxiety on Friday. If on Friday, if they think they're not going to have food for the weekend, they're pretty anxious on Friday, probably disengaged. And then when they come back on Monday, they're not ready to learn. So we make sure they have the tools that they need. And that's because our teachers and our schools have told us this is a resource that was missing for our kids.
That is fantastic because it's been pretty well proven that if a kid is hungry, if anybody is hungry, you can't concentrate, you can't learn. And so this is really a wonderful thing that has developed. And this is a very special year for Snack Pack with Kids. Why is that?
Well, I think we're celebrating 15 years. I think a lot of times you have an idea, but is it sustainable? Is it going to be relevant? And probably more important, is it going to make a difference? And so, yes, we're excited. We're celebrating 15 years. And the reason we are is we have a whole army of people that have gotten behind this idea.
Okay, that is so awesome because I've actually been down there
You
and
have been
helped
there.
on a Tuesday evening, and the organization is just fantastic. Kind of explain to me how you have this organized for certain groups or
Yeah.
individuals to come in and help
Yeah.
out.
Well, when you came and when others come, you're giving us your most valuable thing. It's your time. And I think we all want to go to a place where when we're going to dedicate some time and we're going to dedicate some energy, it makes a difference. It's valued. It's productive. So we've spent a lot of time making sure what we do is organized. We're prepared. And our volunteers are the most valuable thing we have because we may have an idea, we may have seen a need 15 years ago, but if you don't have people, it doesn't get done. So we spend a lot of time making sure what we do is organized and ready to go. But I think the other thing is we ask all the time, what is your gift? Why are you here? Why did you want to be here? And so we really listen to those people about why they're there, and then we make sure we try to meet that need that they have and that interest that they have as well. And the better we've done that, the more successful we have been. And so I'll give you a good example. Tuesday
Okay.
morning, 9 a.m., my building is full of retirees. All right? Um, just because you're retired does not mean that you don't have a purpose and that you don't have something to offer. And so we have ages 62 to 96 there on a Tuesday morning. All right?
Okay.
And so those people have found their purpose, they found a community. Unfortunately, some of these people have lost their spouse, and so they're lost. And it's been a place for our seniors to plug in, make a tangible difference in our community, get a little exercise on Tuesday morning. We walk, and so you're going to get your steps in and you're going to get some exercise. But you're at the same time, you're going to be investing in our next generation. The people we serve in our community are our future. Our kids are our future. And so, what better way for our retirees to do that? So, we've been very blessed to have our retirees and create a community where they can plug in.
Well, this is so awesome because it's also teaching kids that even though they may be in a situation where they may not have enough food, say over the weekend,
Yeah,
they're learning that there's people out there that care that are going to try to help them.
yeah,
And that can have long reaching implications in their life as they grow to become adults because now they're going to want to help people because
yeah.
they understand.
That actually happens. It happens all the time. So, I run into people. There's a manager of a business here in town, very prominent business, brought her team this summer. So they came in, they volunteered, and I said, "So why did you bring your team? There's a lot of places you could serve, there's a lot of places you can volunteer." And she looked right at me and she said, "You guys fed me when I was a kid. And I want my team." she didn't tell her team that was why they were there. I just wanted to know. I want my team to see a place that invested in me, that was organized, that did it with dignity and respect. And so here's a leader in our community that we fed and that we served, that now wants to expose her team to that same situation. I can give you many examples of that, but that's one that's just most recent where, you took care of me. I want to now introduce this to our community. So when you invest in our future and our kids that we serve, they're not hungry kids. They're not poor kids. They're not economically disadvantaged kids. They're not underprivileged kids. They're our future. So when we invest in our future, just as you have done, it's a game changer. And that's what we see all the time.
Okay. So we talked earlier how people in other parts of the country have taken this idea and they're running with it. They're doing it in their own communities. Can you tell me a little bit about any of those communities that have reached out to you for possible guidance or anything to help out?
Man, I want to tell you something, Alan. We have made a lot of mistakes in 15 years. I could write you a James Michener novel on the mistakes. But I think through that, we've learned some things that work. And so people have learned about what we've done. We've actually copyrighted and trademarked a lot of what we do. And we have freely offered that on our website. Well, through offering that on our website, we have people from all over the country that call us. We've had teams come down here from Spokane, Washington, Juneau, Alaska, Minnesota, South Carolina, Colorado, and then all kinds of groups from Texas, all over the state of Texas. I mean, as close as Lubbock, Abilene, Waxahachie was here this week. So we freely share the mistakes we've made, but we also share a few nuggets that have been successful. And then those people go back and they want to invest in their future just as we have. So Spokane comes to mind. They started with 100 kids. They heard about what we do. They traveled down here. They now serve 13,000 kids in Spokane with our model.
Wow.
And we talk all the time, and it's fun because the mistakes that we've made, they've avoided some of those, and then they make some of the same ones we do, and they're like, okay, we know what that feels like. But what hasn't got lost in that is Spokane recognizes that, you know what, their kids are their future as well. And so what they do is quite successful, and it's been neat to see others adopt ideas of how they can invest in their future. And then in Texas, we've built a network. So a lot of people don't know this. So everything we give our kids is brand new and brand name. So when you've been there packing, everything that you put in a kid's bag was brand new, brand name, and it's something we purchase. Okay? So we spend millions of dollars every year to make sure our kids have the best. Well, through that, we figured out that we need to figure out contracts and supplies to make it affordable for everyone. So we've built a national buying cooperative. And so what does that mean? It means basically all of these communities that come here, we can save them as much as 25% on their food bill every week.
That's significant.
It is significant. So just in Texas this past year, we had 120 communities in Texas part of our network. Well, we saved that group of members in our network this past year over $800,000 on their food bill. And so when you start saving people real dollars, then they start traveling here and they want to know what that's about. They want to know how they can be part of that. And so not only have we shown them the mistakes we've made, but we've also now shown them how that some of the resources we have available to them can be in their community. Kids all over the state now have brand new and brand name innovative ideas available to them every weekend because of this contract and this cooperative that we've developed. And so it's a multi-million-dollar cooperative that most people don't understand that's happening as well.
Yeah, I had no clue, and I'm sort of familiar with this, but I had no clue of some of the nuts and bolts that are going on behind the scenes to make this successful.
It is the business aspect that we really don't talk about. It's not really something we kind of say, hey, look what we do. But when people find out about it, it's a big deal. We now have foundations. I'll give you an example. James Avery Foundation has partnered with us. So as other groups come to James Avery for grants, so there may be a program, most recently a group in Howell, Texas, received a grant and they said, hey, why don't you contact this guy in Amarillo? He has a cooperative. I think his cooperative and his contracts can make these grant dollars we're giving you go much further. He had about 800 kids he was doing. He now serves well over 1,000 kids, yet we saved him 25% on his food bill every week. So now they recommend any of those grant recipients evaluate and look at our cooperative and how they can save money. So not only are we feeding kids, but we're helping many communities save significant dollars, but bring our kids innovative, quality products that are traditionally not accessible to them. So it's quite multifaceted in what we're doing.
It sounds like it. So are you guys open 7 days a week?
It feels like it.
What are some of the ways that just some person off the street can help?
Well, I think one, go to our website first, and it talks about some of the ideas. So Tuesday morning, we have a lot of retirees come at 9 a.m. and they pack bags. On Wednesday morning at 8 a.m., we have people back up with their SUV, pickups, trailers, whatever. We deliver to 47 schools. We do that in 45 minutes, and we'll deliver about 4,500 snack packs. So if you have an SUV or a pickup, and you want to deliver every week, it may be cold. Hey, we look to you all the time. What's the weather going to be?
Yeah.
What's the situation? And then we plan accordingly. So what you do is actually very instrumental in how we plan and run our day and run our week because of the weather. And so we deliver on Wednesday morning because we never know what the weather's going to be. The food doesn't go home until Friday, but we have an army of volunteers that get it to our school. So if you want to deliver, we have that. We have people that bring their businesses on Wednesday morning and help us prepare and set up and do all the behind the scenes stuff. So you've come and packed, but all of it was ready to go. Well, we have a team that does all of that. And so go to our website, call us, tell us what you want to do, and then we see what we can't do to plug you in.
Okay, because some people come in and actually fill the bags. What are some of the other things
They will prepare and get it ready to go. They'll deliver it.
Okay, yeah.
Friday, I unload semi. We'll have a semi every Friday. So if you're just into that, we unload anywhere from 18 to 22 pallets every Friday morning.
Okay, and
So-
then you break those pallets up and separate them
Break
into their
it,
own
set it.
spots in the warehouse.
Exactly. So you noticed how organized it was, how we've all done that. Well, it doesn't show up that way. And so we have people that help us do all of that. So I think it's really about if you're looking for something to do, if you want to see about making an investment in our future, which is our kids, give us a call, come see what we do, take a tour. I think a lot of people, 95% of the people that walk in the door thought they knew what we do. After they're done, they said, I hear this all the time. I had no idea.
That's how I was.
I
was
had
shocked.
no idea. And there's many other programs that we do. I won't talk about here just because it can be overwhelming, but we will show people other things that we do that ripple across our city that they're like, oh, well, I want to do that, or I want to do this. So Amarillo College has a grocery store. You know where that food comes from? Our warehouse. So we provide for the grocery store. Our cancer centers in Amarillo have grocery stores. You know where that food comes from? It comes from our warehouse. So we have a very large buying cooperative that we've created in our community to help others that want to serve those patients that have been diagnosed with cancer, or those students at Amarillo College, seniors at Bivens Village. So there's a lot of models that we do behind the scenes where people may want to plug in and help us.
I had no idea that you guys did that extra. You know, I figured you guys were just focused on.
We kind of do that thing you did.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
know, go in there and just load up the bags. Now, I noticed nothing needs to be really refrigerated.
It doesn't.
I think that's an awesome idea because then the food can last for a lot longer.
It is. It's shelf stable. But then let's take an innovative product we've introduced just in the last 2 months. So every year, we constantly look at food, we look at ideas. Our kids are our taste testers. Okay, think about that. So traditionally, do we really bring those people we serve to the table and say, what do you think about this? So our kids have a seat at the table and we taste test innovative new ideas all the time. So I went to a food show this summer and there was a lot of new innovative shelf stable items. One of those was yogurt. So think about this. Yogurt goes in your fridge.
Yeah.
How in the world are you going to have yogurt in your program where things are shelf stable? Yet there is a product made in Pennsylvania called backpack yogurt. Met the family that owns the company, met the family that started the company. They had ideas. We brought it back. We taste tested this summer. We actually partnered with the Maverick. The summer had their kids taste test evaluate. Backpack yogurt is now in our bags. In fact, we just packed it this week. So our kids now have this innovative, cutting edge. It tastes amazing. It's a quality product, but it's yogurt that's shelf stable.
Oh, now you're making me hungry.
It is good. It is good. And I've had a lot of people like, okay, I'm trying to get over the fact you have yogurt sitting out and it's not refrigerated. And then they taste it and it's like, okay, this is really good. And so we bring a lot of innovative new ideas that are shelf stable to our kids. We have a new ramen product that we just brought in this summer. It's whole grain. So we think of ramen. I think of when I had no money and I'm in college kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
So I go to this food show. Well, there's a whole grain ramen, half the sodium, 7 grams of protein, and it's in this cup that looks amazing. And our kids were like, we love the package. We love what this looks like. And then we did the taste test. The kids loved it. And we've been testing it now for the last 2 months. We've already had it in our bag, but we've been testing it. Our kids are like, how do we get this ramen? And then everybody that's not part of our program, where do we buy this ramen? So what's happening at Snack Pack is we are bringing new, innovative, shelf-stable items, as you mentioned, to our kids. We have a contract with Blue Diamond Almonds. Blue Diamond Almonds are part of our program. And they came to us and said, we want to introduce our product to the kids that you serve. So the menu is quite broad of shelf-stable, innovative items for our kids.
Okay. Now, something I noticed whenever I was helping out
Yeah.
the last few times, and it's been a little bit longer than I'd like to admit, the food that goes into each bag is not just random
It's
either.
not.
It looks, I remember thinking, this looks fairly balanced
It is.
to me.
It is.
You know, how'd you come up with that?
Well, 2 things. One, I listened to the kids of what they didn't want.
Okay.
The most expensive thing we buy, Alan, is something our kids don't eat because they're going to throw it away.
Well, then there's just a waste.
It is. And so we survey our kids every year. What do you like? What do you don't like? What do you wish was available? So we start there. So, and then every week we rotate menus. So we have 5 to 6 menus we use, and we rotate every week. So the kids do not receive the same exact thing every single week. One of the items that we do every week, though, I think this is important. People walk in and say, why do you have Gatorade for kids? All right? It seems kind of odd because Gatorade doesn't seem like it's really essential. It's necessary. But when we were doing this taste test, we tested juice, we tested a lot of different things, and then Cup C had Gatorade. And the kids said, we want what's in Cup C. So I held up a bottle of Gatorade, and all the kids started cheering. Okay, it's the one and only taste test I've ever done where kids cheered. And I was like, what is that about? And the little boy sitting on the front of the room there looked right at me, and he said, you mean we're good enough for Gatorade?
Boy, if that doesn't tug your
So
heartstrings.
when you come and pack, there's different stories and different reasons for what's in that bag. In the case of Gatorade, I looked right at the kid and I said, you're absolutely good enough for Gatorade. We have a national contract with Gatorade. Gatorade is the official beverage for Snack Pack for kids. So what may not look necessary or needed, what we're doing is we're pouring into that kid and saying, you matter, you're relevant, You're good enough for Gatorade. You're good enough for brand name mac and cheese. You're good enough for General Mills cereal. Okay? And so there's a lot of behind the scenes work we do to create that menu that you pack when you come to our warehouse.
No, and the kids knowing that, that's going to help build their inner confidence
It does. And
and
then
their spirit, you know.
this new product we have now, this Woodles product, they're the only one that has it. So they have this really neat product that, let's say they want to take their lunch to school today. All of a sudden they break that out and it's like, how did you get that? We don't traditionally think of doing that, but if you're our future and all of a sudden we put you in a position to have something that no one else has, that's a pretty neat deal. And it's a game changer for our kids. And what we're pouring into, as much as the food, what we're really pouring into is our kids and the fact that they are our future.
Oh, that is such a great mission, you know, just because so many people don't really think about the future. They're just thinking about today or what gets them to tomorrow.
Yeah.
Instead of thinking about, no, this needs to look out a lot further.
It really does. And I've had so many of those that we've served come back to my warehouse. I'm like, okay, this is a no-brainer. And I've also had those I have many successful adults today in this community, business people that were the kids that needed what we do, but we didn't have this. And there's a common theme that they tell me all the time. They remember how they were treated and how they were served, and it's not good. And I've had grown men and women walk in my warehouse, the very place you've been. You walk in and you're like, okay, there's packing, whatever. But if you've been hungry, you know what you do? You walk in my warehouse and you see all of these brands that you never had. And I've had grown men and women start crying because they were never good enough for what we have in our building. And that told me right then, I was like, okay, this is more than food. This really is, the food is important, but it's so much more than that. So you imagine, you walk in my building and there's this emotional reaction. All of a sudden you're vulnerable to something you don't even know. And then they've been brave enough to tell me their story. And so it's driven me to make sure that doesn't get lost in what we do. So yeah, there's a lot.
I can't tell you how impressed I am.
Well, I'm just telling you, there's a lot more. Obviously, you've been there. It's not like we can sit there and have that discussion about the menu and what's going on. And I appreciate this chance for people to understand that that building is not full of food. That building is full of tools. That building is full of dignity. That building is full of how do we treat kids with respect. It just happens to be food is what you see. And so that's why some of these contracts are so important, so that we can bring these innovations to our kids.
Wow, and you've been doing this for 15 years now and still going strong.
We're going strong because we have an amazing community and we have amazing volunteers that want to be part of this. I am just fortunate that I was able to share an idea, and yet thousands of people have invested with their time, with their money, with their energy, with their ideas to make sure this continues. So we're very blessed to live in a community that has embraced this for sure.
Oh, yeah, and you're a ray of light in a world that right now, quite frankly, is messed up and confused.
It is.
And you're doing something that people all over the world really need to do, and that is think about their kids and their futures and get back basically kind of to the family style of doing things. And if a kid can sit at home and eat on the weekend when normally they were, going to the neighbor's house, hey, you got a snack or something? Is a really wonderful mission that you guys are on. And,
The other thing, you know what those kids do, Alan? They've never been in the position to give. And so sometimes when a student first starts this program, you know what they do with their bag?
Share it.
They do. And so then I thought they were hungry. Why are they giving their food away? Because that sounds counterintuitive. If you're hungry, you're giving it away. Did you really need it? Their desire to fit in and their desire to give is far greater than their own needs. And so what we're also doing is unlocking this gift that many of these kids desire to use. They just are not in a position to do that. And so it is a multifaceted thing that over the 15 years that I've learned a lot of lessons personally that I didn't understand as well. And this is one of those lessons where I'm like, okay, if we give kids really neat things and brand name things and innovative things, they are no longer embarrassed or ashamed to share. And they want to share. And it's okay if they do.
Fantastic. Okay, we are out of time for this one. Because if you will, I'll have you come back.
I would love to come back anytime, and I appreciate you reaching out to make sure a piece of the story that you've personally experienced is shared with our community.
It's fantastic. I'm so glad that I've been able to help out and be a part of it too.
Thank you.